Hello, everyone. This is Betsy Wurzel, your host of Chatting with Betsy on Passionate World Talk Radio Network, a subsidiary of Global Media Network, LLC. Our mantra is to educate, enlighten, and entertain. The views of the guest may not represent those of the host of the station. Folks, I have with me today two special guests. They are the cutest couple. They are husband. They are so cute. You got to watch their podcast. They are Scott and Lisa Brearley. That's spelled Brearley from Canada. They are both wonderful speakers. They are crisis and recovery coaches. They are best-selling authors. They host a podcast together, which I was a guest on back in July, called Soulmates and Suitcases Podcast. Wonderful podcast. Highly recommend people watching it. Scott and Lisa met in 2021. They were drawn together by a shared passion for intentional living, healing, and personal growth. They co-founded Forward Walking Choices Coaching, and as I said, they co-host together the podcast Soulmates and Suitcases. Scott Brearley is author of My Perfect Storm, and Lisa Brearley wrote A Year of Love, and her second book is 6 Months of Love, and she wrote a children's book, I Know, Choices About Nutrition. And I want to welcome Scott and Lisa Brearley to Chatting with Betsy. Welcome.
Thanks very much.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Betsy. We're excited to be here.
Pleasure to be here.
I am excited to have you. I was thinking before the podcast today, how did we meet? Because I don't remember. Did I meet you in a Facebook group? You were looking for guests?
Yes.
Okay.
We met your Facebook group.
Okay.
And I love
I thought
with you.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. And I was thinking, how did I meet? And then I remembered. And I enjoyed being on your show. And I think, people ask, or people might think, Betsy, why do you promote other people's podcasts? Well, first of all, I don't have all the answers. Number two, everyone interviews differently. You could interview the same person as I do, but get a different answers from them, different point of view. And I think it's important, very important, to hear different people and to support each other. And I believe it's supporting other people. And Lisa and Scott have been doing their Soulmates and Suitcases for not too long. How long have you been doing your podcast, Lisa and Scott?
Just since January.
Oh, okay. So it'll be a year in January. And I think it's a great podcast. And just so the audience know, I even recommended some guests to Scott and Lisa, because I know they're great hosts, and I know they do a great job interviewing. And this is how it works in the podcast world. You recommend, you support, and you promote each other. That's how it works in my world.
That's a perfect way to put it. Yep.
Excuse me. So I'd like for you to share, whoever wants to go first, because I love a good love story of how you two met.
Go ahead,
Scott.
Ladies. And for your viewers, Betsy, so as much as we do love being together, we are currently not together. We're visiting each of our families right now. One on the East Coast, or I guess, I'm on the East Coast and Scott's more in mid-Canada right now. And, so I would love to tell you our love story and how we met. And, as I'm sharing with you, I hope you can tell I have a big smile on my face.
Yeah. I love it.
Yeah. So back in 2021, actually, I'll back it up even a little bit more. Back in 2019, I began with a personal development group to better myself with this 3-day weekend. And Scott himself, I didn't know Scott back then, and Scott the year before that, I believe, took the same 3-day weekend course from the same business in a different province and country, or different province and city here in Canada. And the next step after this development course was to take a 7-day course, and it was originally down in the United States, but then COVID came around. And because COVID came, us Canadians couldn't go down to the States to take this next course we wanted to take. And they managed to get the course up for the first time in Canada. So they put this course in Alberta, so on the western side of Canada. It was actually the province where I was living at the time. Scott was in British Columbia on the west coast, right on the west coast. And it so happened that we went to the same class, and during that week-long course, we noticed each other. However, we were both there on our own terms to grow and to learn more about ourselves and that sort of thing. And Scott tells this story well as well. But by the end of that week, we actually, I don't know where we got this idea, but we both thought it ended on the Sunday. We thought it went from the Saturday to the Sunday, and it didn't. It went from the Saturday to the Saturday. And we both looked at each other and said, I thought it ended on Saturday. And you're like, yeah, I thought it ended on Saturday too. He goes, I guess we're going for dinner then. I'm like, yes, we are. And we have not been apart since. Well, we technically have been, because he lived in BC, I lived in Alberta, and we flew back and forth to each other every other weekend to keep in contact. And probably within about, I think it was by December, so that was August of 2021, and by December of that year, Scott moved to Calgary, in Alberta, where I was, and never been apart since.
Oh, I love it. I love a good love story. That is sweet. So you knew it was love at first sight. You knew you were, I call soulmates. That's part of your podcast name, right? Soulmates. Did you know you were soulmates?
Yeah. It is part of our podcast. Yeah. Go ahead, Scott.
Podcast, but we look at soulmates as a little bit of a twist than the average person does, because it's like we believe that, like, I am my own soulmate, and in order to be a great partner, you need to find your soul and be a mate with yourself and be okay with yourself to be.
Oh, I love that.
To be there for somebody else. And it's like, I look back at previous relationships, and all this stuff was about self. And then with Lisa, it's not. It's about self is about getting me healthy and staying healthy. That part you have to keep strong. However, if Lisa says, I want to do this, I'm like, okay, how can we do it? Or be like, the communication is absolutely fantastic, because we can talk about anything without taking it personal, because we know it's not personal.
I like that.
And kind of my mission to help encourage men and women to be supportive, because that's all it is like, be a little bit supportive of your partner. Even if you don't want to do it, just do it. And it only takes 5 minutes, and the reciprocation of that is incredible.
Yes, that is so true. That used to frustrate me with my husband Matt, because I wanted to do things that he had already done, but I didn't do it. So I had to put my foot down and say, Matt, I want to do this. I want to go. hear this person in concert. And he finally gave in, but it's a two-way street, you know.
Yeah.
When in the old days, like when I got married to Matt, which was would have been 46 years this November, things were different. And my mother-in-law, this is so funny. I'll make myself choke here. My mother-in-law told me, she asked me if Matt and I were serious. That was like in April of 80. It was around Easter time. It was Easter. And I said, well, I think so. And she said to me, life with Matt would not be easy. I didn't ask her why. I should have. I used to tease Matt. I used to say, you know what your mother said about you? Should have went in my car and ran for the hills. But she said, you know, it's 50-50. It's not 50-50. Everyone should bring both parties 100% of themselves to the relationship.
Yeah. I totally hear you. And yes, we bring all of ourselves. However, even I noticed as I, first began dating Scott and then married, it was an understanding that some days you feel 20% and the other and the other partner is 80%. And quite often we fluctuated actually that way. And I see that a lot in our relationship, that, you know, you'll have an off day and you feel low, and the other person is able to be there for you because they're having an on day. So it's an interesting sort of flow, I think, that I've been noticing in our relationship. But I totally agree with you. Give yourself, and it's your true self, your inner self, the common term that we all hear, our authentic self, that you show up as. However, we have discovered in our relationship that having that open mind, open heart, the openness to communicate, to hear, to listen, is key. Like Scott was talking about, the communication, and that is, I would think, I say, the cornerstone of our relationship. It's huge.
Yes, that is very important. You can take it from the old lady here. Communication is so important, and when people get mad and they go silent, that's really a form of passive aggressiveness.
Yeah.
And it's not good to do. I think both parties should be able to sit down with each other, face each other, and in a non-hostile way get their point across. And I think that's really important. I think it's important for people to seek marriage counseling if they need to, if both parties are willing to work at that. It's very important because communication breakdown, it starts it could start, oh, okay, I'm not going to talk to you because I'm mad at you. So there goes one day, and then it just builds up. I worked with somebody, and she said her and her husband had a fight, and he didn't talk to her for 3 months. How do you live like that?
Yeah, you don't live well. Like it I feel like it really does negatively affect your body as a whole, like your mind, your body, your heart.
Yes.
And I agree. Yeah, it's not a way to live. I was going to say something, but I totally forget, and that's okay.
No, that's okay. No, it's not. And you know what? I listened to this relationship coach. I've been listening to him for 6 years, and he's like, you know what? Both people have to work at it. Both people have to bring 100% and face each other and communicate, but don't come at it as, guns blazing in the figurative term, folks. And, you do have to have that open, honest communication. And my mom, talk about old-time advice. My mom would always say to me, don't ever go to bed mad at your spouse. Don't ever leave the house mad. Always say, I love you, and kiss, but don't leave the house mad. And there's wisdom in that. Because how many times, Lisa and Scott, have people been mad at their partner or their spouse or their parents, children, and they leave the house and never come back?
Yeah.
And, and it's like, oh, I wished I would have said I loved you. I wish I would have talked about this problem.
There's days like
go ahead,
me
Scott.
and Lisa. It was, ironically enough, it was the day before our third anniversary. And we looked at each other, not sure who said it first, but I think it was me. And it's just like I said, I'm at odds with you today. I don't even know what to say. And Lisa responded to me, I'm at odds with you today, and I don't know what to say. So we just completely left each other alone all day. And the
wow.
Next day we were able to talk about what went on for each other the day before. And it wasn't that I was angry at her, and Lisa wasn't angry with me. We were just at odds with each other. We were just not meshing. And
yeah.
able to give your partner the freedom to be there, like to be at odds with you, and not personal is a really incredible superpower because I know Lisa has no bone in her body that wants ill of me. All she wants is the best for me. And if you're not with a partner like that, then maybe it might not be the right one, or maybe you need to do some work so you both get on the same page.
Exactly. That's so beautiful. That it really is, because, when you are in tune to each other, it's like, okay, you're having an off day. You want to, stay to yourself. I understand. And that's good. That's a good thing to know. And to make it clear, you know what, I might be at odds with you, but I'm not mad at you. I still love you. I just feel like I'm not myself today, and I want to be by myself. And you could understand that. An understanding partner would understand that. Well, you would hope, right? You would hope they would understand that. And I can totally get that. Do you guys sound like from New Jersey here, you guys? Do you go for marriage counseling? Have you gone for that to know that wisdom, to have that? Like, okay, we're going to be honest here. I'm having an off day, but it's not personal. How do you?
However, though, after that week-long course, I stayed in Calgary with Lisa for a couple nights. And one of the facilitators of the week-long course put on a relationship seminar. The first week we were together, and we were both at it together. And then fast forward a little bit, when Lisa started sharing a little bit more personal and depth about her life, we, and herself too, went and seen this therapist that I went and seen. And then we seen her together, and it was fantastic. And we were brand new in a relationship.
That is cool. Folks, I have to tell you, you have to watch. They're on YouTube, Lisa and Scott. They're Soulmates and Suitcases, and how well they do an interview together. Like, they just mesh. I just love watching them. And I just think that it's like, oh, they're so sweet. It's so cute together. And I do really like the show. How did you? I'm going to start with your the podcast. How did you come about starting a podcast? What made you decide to start a podcast?
That would be you, babe.
Okay, sure thing.
Whoever wants to answer.
Well, like Scott was saying, first of all, we've done a lot of work together in regards to personal growth, growth together as a couple. And we've really, I like to term it as stretched our comfort zone. A lot of people just say step out of your comfort zone, but we've done lots of those things individually and as a couple. And the last several years, we've been going to Thailand, really pushing ourselves to something different and staying over the winter months, so 6 months or so in Thailand. And we've been doing things that kind of has been pushing our boundaries and has been, not pushing our boundaries, that's not the right word, stretching our opportunities, I think is the better words. And we've been like meeting absolutely incredible people through the books we've written, through the places we've traveled to. And part of that came up, and I don't even know exactly how the whole podcast thing came up, but we knew that the opportunity to speak with so many different people around the world and to share their story just as we shared ours in books, it was just an incredible, like, can we really do this? We can really do this, can't we? Like, we can. And so when we got the ball rolling initially, it was Scott and I interviewing each other, and it felt really good. And it was actually a little scary. It was for me anyway, interviewing, I would say the first, 5, 6, 7 people, and going, I never went to school for this. I don't know how to interview people. And
that's what I thought for myself.
So it's evolved over the last, we're now on podcast 37, and it's evolved in where we were pretty tight with, we had a set of questions to ask and that sort of thing. And now we've come to a place of this really relaxed conversation and really going deeper and deeper and deeper, and getting to those real life questions, those real the things that matter to people. And we're learning all the time, even on how to get even more deeper and reach those important things in life that I think many people are scared to look at and are often nervous about looking at and making those shifts in their own lives. And so, the podcast it allows for us to grow, and then it allows us to also learn from other people. So it's been this incredible experience doing our Soulmates and Suitcases podcast, which we're on YouTube as video, by the way, just for your listeners, and we're on Spotify as audio.
Okay, Spotify audio. Yeah, go. You have to check them out on YouTube, folks, so you could see. So you can see them. I think your podcast is great, and I understand what you mean, because when I started, I was like, I can't do this. I don't know how to interview people, and been doing it for 6 years, and I just have a conversation, and I'm not your typical host, because I still listen to other people and say I don't sound like them, but that makes me me. I mean, I am me, and you learn so much. I mean, I've learned, and I'm sure as you have, you learn from every guest.
Yeah.
You really do, and you grow as a person, don't you? By talking to all different people.
Yes. I believe putting yourself out there clears a path for all new stuff to come to life, rather than staying bottled up.
Yes. Yeah. I'm amazed, really, because I am shy, off the phone, like off my interview, off my show. Put me in a room of people, you won't even know I'm there, because I'm quiet. But I don't know. It's something with doing a interview that it just makes me feel alive. Like, don't you feel like you come alive in a different way?
Oh, 100%. So much so. And I'm not sure if you're the same, Betsy, but after when you say goodbye to your guests, Scott and I look at each other and wow, that's great. Like, it's just,
Yeah.
it's a great feeling. Yeah.
Yes. And, you know, to give people an opportunity to share their story, Lisa and Scott, I know it means a lot to you, and it means a lot to me. And that's one of the things I really like about you both is that you give people an opportunity to talk. And just like we do at Passion World Talk Radio Network, because when I wanted to share Matt's story, nobody wanted to talk to me. Nobody wanted to listen. And it was really hard to get a story out there. And people share stories. I think it connects us and brings us together, and we share our humanity with each other. Because a lot of people think they're the only ones who feel that way, or the only ones who went through that experience, and they find out, oh, well, someone else went through it, and they survived. I could survive too. It gives people hope, I feel.
Yes, that's for sure. And you hit the nail on the head in terms of it's about sharing humanity. And I think that's one thing that we sort of go on this journey with our guests, is that, they've written a book and they're excited to share the book, but often it's more about how they shifted, or what they gained from or their perspective, how it shifted after writing this book, and the people they got to interact with because of this book, and the opportunities they got to try out. And so it's kind of one of those, a little bit of an affirmation of this is your story, and what you have to share is special, and it's important to get that out, and to allow that when they share, it allows other people to take those risks or opportunities or try a different experience in their life. So that's kind of how I feel about what the podcast does.
Excuse me. How about you, Scott?
Well, I kind of feel exactly like that. However, it opens people up and first to find a solution. There's a lot of people don't know where to find a solution, or they've been to different places to find their solution they need to enhance their life. However, they haven't quite found the mark. And that was me for a lot of years, and over some trial and tribulations, I found where I needed to be, and which kind of shattered all the beliefs that I kind of grew up on, too, of where I went for help. However, when I became open to maybe there was something different, because I was a creature of habit, I would always go back to the same spot for help, and always the same spot for help, expecting a different solution, and it was the same solution. That's the only solution they know. So it kept getting put in, and I would get a little bit healthy, but I would be stagnant and almost dragging a lot around all the time. And it wasn't until I broke the mold of that, and I'm forever grateful, because they got me to a point where I could think for myself and move forward, move in different directions, and try different self-help programs, and that's what led me to Lisa, was breaking the mold. So I believe the solution for absolutely everybody, and it's not a cookie-cutter solution for everybody. And for some people it is. Some people find what they need almost instantly, and some people have to grind the pavement for a while. And
yes, that's true. Yeah, that's very true. I found that enjoying this my show, it gave me a sense of purpose, especially when my husband was dying and afterwards. But it just opened up, like, talking to people and meeting people and learning from every guest. And I had no confidence in myself at all. I have a little more confidence in myself, and I'm like, you know what? I really can talk to anyone about anything.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why I wanted a variety in my show. I didn't want to just do one particular type of show. Like some people just have like about caregivers, and that's fine. That's great. Or Alzheimer's. I wanted to mix it up, and that's what your show. You have all different types of people on, and I like that. I like. For me, I like variety, and just to know, like, you don't know who's listening, Lisa and Scott. I can tell you that. You really don't know who's listening. You know, who you're helping. We don't know how far our ripples go. And, excuse me, I think that it's really important of what you do and your podcast. And I'm glad it's doing well. And the link for it will be in the blog so people can see it or hear it. Excuse me. I also think I had an experience one time. I don't even know if they still have it. I'm not in it anymore. There's a social platform called the Clubhouse, and I was in it. Had to be 3 or 4 years ago. It was a group of podcast hosts. I found it to be very condescending, those people, to me. And they had such an attitude, like, oh, I only interview people who are bestsellers or, that or have, CEOs or whatever. And I said, don't you interview someone who has a story, someone who went through a tragic event and they are now doing something, they turn their life around? Don't you want to interview those type of people? Or first-time book author? Don't you want to give them a chance? I do. And that, I think, is so important. Everybody needs that first break. Everybody needs that first time of someone giving them a chance. It's really important.
Yeah, I think the reminder that, we are all of the human race, and we're all we're all doing our best, and that we can learn from each other, and that life is a constant journey. It's a constant traveling down this path of learning new things, and something may work for today and not for tomorrow, and you need to learn something new. And it's to look at all the experiences in our life and to kind of stop and say, well, what lesson am I taking from that? And, now that I know the lesson, how will I move forward? And, a lot of us can call a lot of things tragic or a trauma, and often some people experience horrific things. However, there is always something to take away from it that you can say, this is the lesson that I learned, and now I have the opportunity to do something different. And that's kind of one of the big shifts, I think, in a lot of thinking of people today is kind of coming to that understanding of our mind is very powerful, very powerful thing. And we often think we're stuck for so long. However, we don't have to be. We can be stuck now and not stuck in 2 seconds. There is that opportunity to do that.
That's true. That is very true. I have a whole new appreciation for life. I wish I had when I was younger, but as I get older, and seeing, young people die, I really am very thankful to be alive, and it's like I want to try to change the world or make the world a better place with the time I have left. And, at age hopefully comes wisdom, and you learn not to sweat the small stuff. But it takes work. It really does.
Yeah.
I want to get to your books. You are a busy couple. Scott, I'm going to start with you. Your book is My Perfect Storm. Could you tell us about that?
Well, it's kind of thanks to Lisa. I'll say that. We were in Thailand, and Lisa was writing her first book, just finishing it up. And I'm sitting around, and I'm kind of not bored, but sitting in the sun. What can I do? So I started kind of putting my memoir together. And next thing I know, Lisa says to me, she goes, "Oh yeah, I bought you a coaching package to finish writing your book." So I put the push on to do it, and my life has been a train wreck up until about 6-ish years ago. And it's not that it's like I said, I was always going back to find the same solution, and my life stems from almost dying when I was 7. A lot of trauma when I grew up with family and other stuff, and jails, drugs, alcohol, and a lot of 12-step programs, and a lot of times getting a couple of years in and going back out because I didn't have the emotional capacity to deal with some stuff that I didn't know that's what it was at the time. And the last 5 years of finding emotional stability and where I belong kind of brought on me writing my first book, and a little bit about how I got there, and trying some alternative therapies and doing a lot of self-help classes that I've done, and having a mind shift of what life is really about. Like, all I did in my previous life was work, and all about the dollar, all about making money, rather than about family and about having holidays and about having fun. And it's been an amazing journey. And I wrote my book in an attempt hoping that people could find their own solution through my book, and know that there's not just one solution for everybody. So that was my first book. And my second book's going to go even a little bit deeper into that, of the stuff that I've done with other research from other people that have done similar things. And I'm looking forward to it. I'm going to start doing it as soon as I get back to Thailand.
Wow, that's cool. Well, congratulations, Scott. You know, it's very. It takes a brave person to write a book about themselves and share what they've gone through, whether it's a man or a woman. I think it's maybe a little more difficult for a man to show, emotion because of how society says how men should be, which has to stop. That I think as more men were raised from boys, that it's okay to show emotion. It's okay to cry, and it's okay. It doesn't mean you're weak. I think men would be a lot better off as they got older. And so kudos to you in writing a book that will help other people, and by sharing your story. So important. And you know what? I don't know what it is, Lisa and Scott and the audience. Lately, this must need to be told. I have had a lot of guests recently that have a lot in common, talking about, abusive home environments or domestic violence, and trauma and therapy, and being victorious over that. I mean, it's and I never had so many guests within such a short time frame of the same topic, but it's different for everyone. And I don't know, I think people need to hear that now. I think there's a lot of people struggling, and I believe that I get the guests that I'm supposed to have for the audience needs to hear it. Which might sound a little cuckoo, but that's how I feel. And Lisa, you wrote 3 books. A Year of Love. That's your first book. Is that correct?
Yeah.
And would you like to tell us what that's about?
Yeah. I'll tell you about my book. So before I get into that, though, Scott's book is available for purchase as a paperback on our website on forwardwalkingchoices.com. So you can get his copy of your book there. As well, if you want it quick and fast, you can get it as an e-book on our PayHip, P-A-Y-H-I-P, PayHip store, which I'll make sure that you have those links, Betsy, so you can put them in the description. So my first book came about, A Year of Love, Taking Risks, Big and Small, Finding My Soulmate to Win It All. That's the subtitle. It came about when Scott and I were part of a goal setting. No, actually, this one it wasn't a goal setting course. It was the big realization of who do I really want to show up as. And I wrote down this goal of I want to be okay with being heard. And because I, like you, Betsy, is a very quiet person. I don't say very much either in public. But I came to a place of I was very proud of who I was becoming and very proud of the relationship I was choosing to have, because it was a choice to show up as the best I could with Scott. And I was very proud of that. And my first year with Scott, people were saying to me, like, Lisa, you're just like, your smile, you light up the room before you even enter it. Like something is going on with you. And I'm like, yeah, like this is important. And I was starting to realize, wait, I'm important. I'm worthy of sharing my thoughts, my feelings, being heard, because those things were not important to me, or I didn't feel I was confident enough to share it. So I set a goal out that said I was going to tell the story of my love story, my relationship, and my relationship with myself, and I was going to publish this book like within a year, and I did. And so that's where A Year of Love came from. And then my second book, I'm like pretty much the next day, almost like after the first book was published, I'm like, I started right in on my second book. And so The Year of Love is about our first year together and my growth in that year. And the 6 months of love, it is about our first 6 months in Thailand. So if, it is about our journey, my journey. But if you're interested in learning a little more and seeing a little more about Thailand, you would get that in that book, because that's the 6 months we spent our first 6 months there. And like we were, we're living, well, we rented there, but we're living in a country where we don't know their language. We don't know how the money works. We don't know this and we don't know that. And we're driving a scooter on the other side of the road, and we're like doing all this crazy stuff, like going in caves and not knowing where we're going. We've done crazy stuff. And so, being able to share that story and have other people read it, I hope it's inspiring to them to do something for themselves, because they are worthy. And that is the last caption of the last picture in that book, 6 Months of Love. It's a picture of me that says, I am worthy. And that was very important that I put that there, because I want people to see themselves in me and know that they are worthy as well. So those 2 books are extremely important. And my third book that I'm almost ready to go to the publisher now, it's called Love, the Infinite Possibilities That Can Transform Everything. So it's understanding that when you can love yourself, the cup, it spill over. It's so much comes your way, so many experiences and opportunities and so much growth and so much resilience when you can find that love within. And then when you find that love within, it attracts love. It attracts those things that you are, because what you are, you will attract. And so that's what my third book is about, and it's about just like the recounts of experiences and awarenesses and those stories that were special to me. And so that's kind of my 3 adult books. But like you said, Betsy, I have a children's book. It is a nonfiction book. It's aged for ages 5 to 7, around that ages. And I'm a teacher, and I envisioned it being used in the classroom. However, I've seen it used now in families, just to bring up the conversation around nutrition and what we eat and our choices about food. And it's a fun pattern book for young readers, and especially those young readers who love animals, because there's animals throughout the book. This book is called I Know, because you know what? Kids know all the answers. So I wanted to title that. And kids, like I have had lots of feedback on how they love seeing, like a lion lick a lollipop, and there's hardly any words in this book. There's the word no, and there's the word why, and children know the answer, and so they know why lions don't lick lollipops and sharks don't eat bags of chips. They know why, and so when it gets to the end, and you see a person, and you see all those things around that person, and they go, I know. And they know. So it's to spark that conversation within themselves, within the parents, within, the dynamics of the classroom. That was my goal with that book, because it does start with a discussion and awareness and then action. And there are some resources at the back of the book as well. And my second children's book that I'm very excited that's coming out, it's called One Cookie at a Time. And it's a true story about Lily, a kindergarten student who approached me as her teacher to do something special. And I don't want to give the whole book away, but I'm really excited about this one. And I know it will be a great bedtime story, great story to read in school. I'm very excited about that one. It will probably be coming out in early 2026, I would say.
Oh, that is cool. And I'm kind of curious, how did you settle on Thailand to live there for 6 months? Or I could see visiting there, but to live there for a few months.
Yeah.
Well, I had known a few friends that went there, and I had decided, before meeting Lisa, I had decided I was going to work probably till about this age or maybe another year and pay off some debt and start going to Thailand for 6 months a year and then work part of the year if I wanted, or live life. And meeting Lisa and what we both brought together allowed me to do it sooner, and it was like I just wanted to get away. So we went for 6 months, and it was actually one of the goals I set in this goal-setting course that we had taken together. And part of the goal-setting course, we got challenged to make our goals come true in 24 hours. So I went home and took both of us plane tickets to Thailand. And at that point, we were not married yet. We were still just living together as partners. And not that that's changed. We're still partners. However, and then we went and we loved it so much, and the people are so genuine, and the food is so good, and it's also really inexpensive to live there. Yeah, that's why I kind of like going, and I'm not sure. I think Lisa's about the same vote.
Yes, I am.
That's cool. I don't. Before we finish, I want to get in your coaching business. do you offer online services, your Forward Walking Choices coaching?
Yes, it's all online.
Oh, okay. And if they go on your website, they can see the different services that you offer. Do you coach like the personal or business? What kind of coaching do you do?
Yeah, personal.
Oh, okay. Excuse me.
Yes, you'll find everything on our website, like all links to our services, our books, our podcast. You'll find all of that on there. And anyway, reach out to us, please. Yes, we'd be excited to meet some new guests for our podcast. We'd be excited to as well to coach. Our focus is crisis and recovery coaching, and on top of that, Scott is also a life coach.
Oh, okay. Well, that sounds great. You are both a busy couple, that's for sure. And I'm so glad that you two met each other. And I'm glad that I met you both. And I wish you a safe trip to Thailand. And best of wishes with all your books and your podcast. And I really enjoyed talking to you both. Thank you for being a guest. Excuse me.
Thanks. Fantastic.
Thank you, Betsy. This was an awesome conversation, and we appreciate you supporting us as well. Thank you.
You're welcome. And you know what? Let me know when your new books are out and come back. I would love to you to talk about your new books, how Thailand was, and what's going on. You know,
love to.
Kind of like a catch-up. Well, thank you. Folks, you heard Lisa and Scott Brearley, Brearley. All the information about Lisa and Scott will be in the blog that Jeannie White writes, as the station manager and produces the show. And I want to thank Lillian Caldwell, who's the CEO of Passion World Talk Radio, who makes this all possible. I want to thank you, the listeners. Thank you for listening, subscribing. If you don't already subscribe to Chatting with Betsy, it is for free on Spotify, Spreaker, iHeart, and Amazon Music. And you could follow me on Facebook, Betsy Wurzel, Wurzel. And I want to thank Lisa and Scott Brearley again. Folks, check out their website. Check out their YouTube channel. And you could see them on video or listen on Spotify. And I know you'll enjoy their show, Soulmates and Suitcases Podcast. And thank you all for listening. And as I always say at the end of my show, in a world where you can be anything, please be kind and shine your light bright, because we need it now more than ever before. This is Betsy Wurzel, your host of Chatting with Betsy on Passion World Talk Radio Network, a subsidiary of Global Media Network, LLC. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye now.
Bye.